Hello, everyone, to this exclusive reading for everyone who has joined the Spirit Network. I appreciate you all for being here so much. I wanted to upload this reading specifically for the people who are here to take a deeper dive into your healing. You are ready to go beyond the surface. You are ready to stop answering the same journaling prompts over and over. You're ready to stop repeating the same affirmations over and over again. And you are ready to see real change by getting real honest with yourself. Okay? I really want you to acknowledge that over the month that you are going to be here or further into being here for this paid mentorship, that you are going to have to be more honest with yourself than you've ever been if you want to really see results towards your growth and personal development even after this month is up. Okay? Especially for those of you who are here for just group mentorship and not one-on-one, you really need to commit yourself to this because this is more your self-guided journey, right? So let's get real upfront with the parts of yourself that you've been hiding from and lying about the most, okay? I feel like for someone, this is more going to be about relationships that have ended. I feel like part of you is a little still hung on to relationships from the past, mostly not in the sake of like still in love with people, but still hoping for closure and reconciliation with people. This is your kind of sign, if that's what you want to call it. You're not going to get the reconciliation that you are hoping for. There's not always going to be that, bittersweet moment with your hugs goodbye and you shaking hands on good terms that this relationship has ended. But I do feel like even if you don't have that moment of reconciliation physically, it's important for you to go through a process of visualizing, detaching from those people, having that conversation in your mind. Imagine what you would want them to say to you if they ended this relationship peacefully. Let that be your closure. Because I feel like the other person could be a little more happy that a relationship is over, specifically because, as they say, people leave relationships when it requires more effort. And so I feel like this person is kind of feeling like they dodged a bullet because not that you are a problem, but the fact that you wanted them to work to become a better, more aligned person, more fulfilled person. I think that made someone in this connection, whether this is romantic or platonic, doesn't matter. The desire to have more effort from them made them feel like this relationship wasn't really worth it to them. And I feel like this person does wish you well. I feel like sometimes toy with the idea of being like, well, could there still be continued, blah, blah, blah. But then they always get reminded, but they wanted me to be consistent and emotionally available and blah, 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 blah. And then they're just kind of like, no. People will go with what's easy 9 times out of 10. And you're not one of those people. It's why you're here in the Spirit Network doing emotional work, spiritual development that nobody else asked you to do and you paid for. You paid to be here. There's people who would literally never spend a penny on developing themselves as a soul. And unfortunately, a lot of the times we end up in connections with those people to learn about who we truly are and what we truly deserve. Top of the deck energy, leaving you hurt me too. It's not that this person didn't care about you. It's not that they had no soul and no emotion and no desire for a relationship or whatever. It's just they outgrew it just like you did. But they outgrew it to become a more deflated version of themselves, and you outgrew it to expand. Cut from 2 different types of cloth, baby. You were bred for growth, and you are here in this lifetime for spiritual expansion and fulfillment. And they're here for the bare minimum to make it to tonight so they can make it to tomorrow. Baby, you're here for infinite abundance, and that means you have to first face where you are feeling lack. And they don't understand that. They'd rather chase dollar bills thinking that's going to get them to abundance. And baby, you're like, there's more to abundance than money. And because you don't understand that, that's why we don't resonate. And I feel like, again, whether this is romantic, platonic, it doesn't matter. Literally, oh my gosh, I accidentally shuffled the card away. Shoot, where was it? The card literally said, I think, if I remember, I don't really know you. This person is truly this version of themselves who can never understand how you think and who you are. will always see you as a problem for just wanting them to grow and do better. I'm hearing to say, respect yourself, respect others, respect the earth, respect animals. You know, I feel like you're a type of person where you're very empathetic. You're a giver, you're a healer, you're a lover, you're a protector, you're a provider, and this person isn't really any of those things. And you're like, okay, so why are we here? Like, I'm doing all of these things for you, and what are you doing for me? Yet you're the one asking, what do you bring to the table? You know? And again, whether this is romantic or platonic relationship, it doesn't matter. I feel like you are kind of going through identity crisis, disconnection with yourself, probably one of the things that ultimately leaded you here to this mentorship, because you were like, was I the problem? Was I asking for too much? You know, blah, blah, like, you know, it's like, no, baby, you were just asking the wrong person. You weren't asking for too much by asking for to be loved the right way, to be listened to be cared for, to be in a connection with someone who truly cares about people. That's the type of person you are. But unfortunately, again, like I said, a lot of empathetic beings, people who are meant to have more, be more, do more, love more, help more, we end up in connections and relationships with people in our life, platonic, romantic, family, colleagues, who are the exact opposite to us, to show us more about ourselves, more about the direct reasons why we're here to do the work we're here to do. You could be asleep like everybody else, as they say, or woke, as they say. It's up to you. Just like it's up to them to live asleep or finally wake up to the truth. And unfortunately, so many people choose to stay asleep. And I don't mean that in some sort of spiritual warfare way, like how people use that term. I simply mean asleep to themselves, asleep to humanity, asleep to what living in alignment is really supposed to look like, you know? This world is ass backwards, and people built it that way, right? And I feel like some people just fall victim into the propaganda and the bullshit and the lack and the... I think people get so tuned into suffering, and it becomes, people get so used to suffering that they don't see anything more for themselves. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. So they just learn to settle. And anyone who tries to have more than that, to break into abundance and peace, they truly, like crabs in a pot, try to bring everybody down because they're so fearful about disturbing any little bit of peace that they've created for themselves, staying silent in their suffering. And ultimately, also their own oppression. But, well, that's a conversation for another day. I don't know how to let you go. I feel like this is you towards that person / people in your life who you tried so hard to get to level up and expand with you. To ascend, as they say. But I feel like you dealt with a lot of, I don't want to throw around the word narcissistic, but toxic people. Not necessarily outwardly, but spiritually unaligned, which creates toxicities, you know? I'm not coming back. I feel like this is your energy to them. I think a lot of you have either thought about doing like soul tie cutting rituals and things like that to like finally let people go. You've been wanting to learn more about the law of detachment. You've been wanting to learn more about how to realign and cleanse your energy after dealing with relationships like this. And we're going to get into all that. I feel like you've been trying so hard to just take your hands off the situation and surrender. But there's just still part of you that's just put so much time and energy into worrying about why they are the way they are and why they just can't love you the way you need to be loved and see you the way you need to be seen and understand you the way you need to be understood. Anytime you get caught in why don't they blank for me, you need to realign to yourself. Fulfill your own needs and listen to yourself, I promise you. 100 out of 100 times, that is what needs to be done when you're more concerned about how do I get them to fill in the blank. You need to come back to self. Because you are trying to control a situation in a person that you never can. I've seen this video where this guy was like mopping up the ocean every time the tides came back in. Like, that's what it ends up looking like when we end up in these situations and relationships and cycles with people where we keep trying to change them and keep giving them chances to hurt us because we keep holding out hope that they're going to change and they never do. Whether this is relationship with your parents or your siblings or your coworkers or your friends or your romantic partners. You have to accept. It's not that people can't change. It's sometimes they just never will. Sometimes they just don't see the point. They just don't want to put in the effort. It's not that you're not worth it. Don't take their lack of desire to grow or to put in work towards you as a reflection of what you're truly worth. That's the biggest downfall. And I think that's why so many people get stuck on ruminating, on waiting for closure. You're waiting for somebody to come in, they give you that stamp of approval. It's not your fault this is happening. You're worthy of all these things. You're not the one who's broken. It's me. But guess what? A lot of the times they don't see it that way. So you're still waiting for somebody who was never going to give you the approval you were waiting for anyway, who isn't even in your life anymore. You are still waiting for them to come and say, I give you permission to move on, to move forward, to do better, to find more love, blah, 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 blah. You are waiting. You're waiting for them to give you permission to be successful in your business. You're waiting for them to give you permission to be an artist or an entrepreneur. You're waiting for them to give you permission to grow into the version of yourself that you knew you can be. You know you can be, but you wanted to be with them. It's very difficult sometimes to re-envision a life that doesn't have the people that you so desperately wanted to have in it. But that's the point right there. If you have to be desperate to get people to come into the next phase of life with you, they were never meant to be there. And trying to keep them there is exactly what's going to keep you from moving forward every single day. Please understand this. I feel like this is a good space to end this reading. I hope you enjoyed the Spirit Collective, the Spirit Network Collective reading, excuse me. This wasn't exclusive. I cannot speak. This wasn't exclusive. This is not going to be posted publicly on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or anything, even though you are seeing this through a YouTube link. Please remember, this is an exclusive reading that you got because you joined the Spirit Network. I appreciate you for being here. If you have requests for upcoming collective readings, please let me know in the comments down below or send me a DM or an email. I appreciate you all. And if you would like to book private readings with me, you can send me a DM through the Spirit Network messaging board, or you can leave a comment down below and I will reach out to you directly. You can email me. My email is trinitymovesbyfaith@gmail.com. I check my emails daily, so you can have an option for same-day reads if you email me early enough. I love you all so much. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.